All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar. The headlines. Argentina are the new FIFA World Cup champions. Beat defending champions France 4-2 in penalties. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates Argentina for their victory. Lauds France for a spirited performance. CIA chief says Prime Minister Modi used his influence over Russian president to avert a nuclear disaster in Ukraine. Prime Minister launches Grih Pravesh program for over 2 lakh beneficiaries under Pradhan Mantari Awas Yojana, urban and rural in Tripura. Says North-East region via Tripura is becoming a gateway for international trade. India and Sri Lanka to start passenger ferry service between Puducherry and Kankesanthurai port in Jaffna district next month. And a top Chinese health official predicts 3 waves of corona in China this winter. US-based institute projects over 1 million deaths in China in 2023. And now the news in detail. Argentina are the new FIFA World Champions. In one of the most thrilling finals at the Lusail iconic stadium in Qatar last night, they lifted the FIFA World Cup football title for the 3rd time. They beat defending champion France 4-2 on penalties following a dramatic 3-3 draw in extra time. Kylian Mbappe scored a hat-trick for France, while Argentina captain Lionel Messi scored a brace and Angel Di Maria netted 1 goal for Argentina. During 30 minutes of extra time, both the teams scored a goal each to keep the scores tied at 3-3, pushing the match into penalty shootout. Earlier the scores were tied 2-2 at full time, forcing the match into the extra time. A report.
It looked like Argentina might stroll to one of the easiest World Cup final wins any team has ever had the pleasure of experiencing until France were awarded a penalty in the 80th minute. Kylian Mbappe beat Emiliano Martinez to reduce Argentina's 2-goal lead. He then scored an absolute belter to get the equalizer for France. The match went into extra time. Messi then scored again late in the second half of extra time and restored Argentina's lead. But Mbappe then converted his second penalty to become the first player ever to score a hat-trick in the World Cup final. Following a dramatic 3-3 draw after extra time, Argentina keeper Emiliano Martinez saved Kingsley Coman's penalty and Ohelia Tuameni fired wide to give Argentina their first world title since 1986 and 3rd overall. Truly, it was a match of the century. After all the drama and twists, Argentina are world champions. Lionel Messi is a world champion. A night that will go down in history. With Pratyush Ghosh, this is Anupam Mishra, Sports Desk.
Messi clinched the Golden Ball award for the best player at the FIFA World Cup 2022, while Mbappe took the Golden Boot for being the top goal scorer, and Argentina's Emiliano Martinez won the Golden Glove for being the best goalkeeper. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Argentina on becoming the FIFA World Cup champions, saying they have played brilliantly through the tournament. He said this will be remembered as one of the most thrilling football matches. Mr. Modi added that millions of Indian fans of Argentina and Lionel Messi rejoice in the magnificent victory. The Prime Minister also congratulated France for a spirited performance at the World Cup and said they delighted the football fans with their skill and sportsmanship on the way to the finals. Union Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur also congratulated Team Argentina for lifting the FIFA World Cup. He said his reverence to Team France as well, who came close but finished worthy runners-up. The minister added that both the teams put on a show for the entire globe and entertained one and all with their electrifying performance. Director of the Central Intelligence Agency CIA of the United States, Bill Burns, has said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi used his influence over Russian President Vladimir Putin to avert the use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine. In an interview to PBS TV network, Mr. Burns said Prime Minister Modi's views on the use of nuclear weapons had an impact on the Russians and could well have averted a global disaster in the context of the Ukraine war. India has repeatedly warned against any use of nuclear weapons in the Ukraine while calling for dialogue and diplomacy to end the conflict. Mr. Modi continued to emphasize to the Russian president the need to bring the conflict to an end. The CIA chief's remarks assume significance as Mr. Putin had earlier warned of the increasing threat of nuclear war. Mr. Putin had warned that Russia will fight by all available means. The CIA chief's remarks are considered another endorsement of India's position on the Ukraine conflict. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of several development projects worth over 6,800 crore rupees in Tripura and Meghalaya. Mr. Modi was on a day-long visit to the two states yesterday. In Agartala, Tripura, the Prime Minister launched projects worth 4,350 crore rupees. The projects include Grih Pravesh program for beneficiaries under Pradhan Mantari Awas Yojana Urban and Pradhan Mantari Awas Yojana Rural. These houses, which have been developed at a cost of more than 3,400 crore rupees, will cover over 2 lakh beneficiaries. Mr. Modi said the northeastern part of the country region via Tripura is becoming a gateway for international trade.
अब तो त्रिपुरा के जरिए नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड का भी एक गेटवे बन रहा है। अगरतला अखौरा रेलवे लाइन से व्यापार का नया रास्ता खुलेगा। इसी तरह भारत, थाईलैंड, म्यांमार हाईवे जैसे रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के जरिए नॉर्थ ईस्ट दूसरे देशों के साथ संबंधों का द्वार भी बन रहा है।
Mr. Modi said in the last 8 years, many national highways have been constructed in the northeast and several rural areas are also connected by roads. In Meghalaya, the Prime Minister unveiled projects worth over 2,450 crore rupees. Union Minister for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh, will inaugurate the Prashasan Gaon Ki Or, a nationwide campaign under the Good Governance Week 2022 in New Delhi today. He will also launch the Good Governance Week portal, www.pgportal.gov.in. In the 5 days campaign, over 300 new services identified by district collectors across the country will be added for online service delivery. The nationwide campaign for redressal of public grievances and improving service delivery will be held in all districts, states and union territories of the country. Over 700 district collectors will participate in the campaign and officials will be visiting tehsils and Panchayat Samiti headquarters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended his best wishes for the success of the Good Governance Week across all districts and tehsils of India. The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring Year-Ender series special exclusive interview with Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh on India's space journey and achievements tonight. Dr. Jitendra Singh said India's success story is unprecedented in the history of space sector. He said India started its space journey 7 decades back from scratch and is today acknowledged to be a leading space power.
When India began its space program led by Vikram Sarabhai, that was a time when the USA and the then USSR were on the verge of sending a human being to the surface of moon. And indeed that happened also in 1969. It was Neil Armstrong from USA who landed on the surface of moon. But he didn't see the presence of water on the surface of moon. It was our Chandrayaan, a few years later, which went and captured the pictures of the presence of water on the surface of moon, where H2O, which has some indication of the semblance of human habitat existing over there or possibility of existing. So that was the kind of quantum leap that India made, even having started a little late.
This interview can be heard on FM Gold channel from 7:10 p.m. onwards in Surkhiyon Mein and from 9:15 p.m. onwards in Spotlight tonight. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Welcome back. In a bilingual live phone-in program Public Speak at 9:30 p.m. tonight, we will bring you a live discussion on oral health with Dr. Gautam Khatak, consultant and HOD, Department of Dental Surgery, RML Hospital. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on oral health, dental care and treatment from 9:30 p.m. onwards today on telephone numbers 011-2371-7106 and 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies. In Gujarat, the first session of the newly elected assembly will commence today. On the first day, the pro tem speaker, Yogesh Patel, will administer the oath to all the newly elected MLAs. The election for the speaker and the deputy speaker will be held tomorrow. The winter session of Maharashtra Legislature Assembly will start today in Nagpur. The state cabinet, chaired by Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, had approved a bill to enact new Anti-Corruption Lokayukt Act, and it will come for consideration during the session. Under the bill, for the first time, the Chief Minister and the legislature will also come under the ambit of the Lokayukt. Passenger ferry service is slated to commence from next month between India and Sri Lanka. The ferry service will connect the Kankesanthurai port in Jaffna district and Puducherry. Sri Lanka's Ports and Shipping Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva said that the Indian government had extended consent for the service.
The passenger ferry service is likely to boost the tourism sector as well as strengthen the cultural ties between the two countries. The service is being started in view of several demands to improve connectivity. Sri Lanka's Ports and Shipping Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva said that services will also be started between southern India and Trincomalee and Colombo in Sri Lanka. The minister has asked officials to develop infrastructure related to customs, immigration and other facilities at the Sri Lankan ports. The vessels under the new service will carry 300 to 400 passengers on a trip that would take about 3.5 hours. For AIR News, this is Ahmed Moin Faruqi from Colombo.
China is experiencing the first of the 3 expected waves of COVID infections this winter, according to a top Chinese health official. The country is seeing a surge in cases since the revocation of the most severe restrictions earlier this month. Epidemiologist Wu Zunyu has said he believes the current spike in infections would run until mid-January, while the second wave would then be triggered by mass travel next month around the week-long Lunar New Year celebrations. Dr. Wu's comments come after a US-based Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation reported earlier this week that it believed China could see over 1 million people die from COVID in 2023. And now for a look at today's newspapers, it's over to VC Pramod.
Thank you, Anuja. All the dailies have covered the news of Argentina, the first South American team to win the World Cup in 20 years in an incredible final. Hindustan Times writes, Messi's Maradona moment. With ultimate footballing glory in his swan song. The Economic Times adds, a game-worn Lionel Messi jersey is the most coveted collectible in Qatar, the souvenir everyone wants. Organ donations rise after 2020 dip, close to pre-pandemic high, writes the Indian Express. Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, Christians, Buddhists, Jains from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh would be allowed to produce expired passports and visas, reports The Hindu, under the headline, Citizenship Path to be eased for 6 minority groups from 3 nations. And finally, the Times of India writes, sharp rise in oil shipments changes India's export map, with Netherlands emerging as India's 3rd largest export destination. And with that, it's back to you, Anuja.
Thank you, Pramod. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Argentina are the new FIFA World Cup champions, beat defending champions France 4-2 in penalties. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates Argentina for their victory, lauds France for a spirited performance. CIA chief says Prime Minister Modi used his influence over Russian president to avert a nuclear disaster in Ukraine. Prime Minister launches Grih Pravesh program for over 2 lakh beneficiaries under Pradhan Mantari Awas Yojana, urban and rural in Tripura. India and Sri Lanka to start passenger ferry service between Puducherry and Kankesanthurai port in Jaffna district next month, and top Chinese health official predicts 3 waves of corona in China this winter. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.